Well, I've had a lot of people ask how to beat this lightning shield, or Gandalf with his special skill here. And to be honest with you, I never had a problem with this. I skipped right over difficulty 52 and pretty much pushed all the way into the 60s. And when people would mention this thing, I honestly didn't even know what they were talking about because I didn't have to struggle with this. But seeing how there is so many people struggling, I figured I would go and drop my power level, go back in and see how we actually need to beat this thing. Now, I am normally about 108 to 110 billion power. I dropped down to 10 billion. And this was a little bit difficult in the fact that there was some times where I couldn't even make it through the first 5 waves. Other times I timed out at 120, the game ended there. And then of course the final one being that I just ended up dying. But I would say that for probably about 70% of you, the main problem you have with this is you're using the Whisperer. Now, I didn't pay too much attention to this, but the way that this Gandalf is going to work is in those first 4 rounds, it's going to have a lightning shield, and every time you go and attack that, or a majority time, I guess I would say, you're going to get hit back with some lightning. Now, it is also immune to paralysis. It is going to take less damage from lightning hits itself, but normal attacks and combo hits will actually have an increased damage. Still, on this, less hits is going to be better, and like I said, if you are using that Whisper, every single one of those dagger that comes out is only going to do you worse in the long run. So I did try to avoid as much combo as possible. I took Diego off, I took the Vulture off, I actually switched over to the Star Staff on it and just dropped a bunch of my stuff altogether. Sitting at about 10 billion, I did go back in, but 2 things that I put on that helped me was number 1, the Skeleton Spellblade, and then the other one being the Guardian, really trying to utilize shields for those first 4 rounds. But when it came to picking the skills, there's a couple of big ones that I really do like. One of the big ones that really helps me out is going to be the Pharaoh. And if you can go and land that one that's going to have a summon first round, this could really benefit you too. As far as that Pharaoh, the main reason is going to be the fact that it will have a lot of reductions or nerfs to the enemy, allowing it to take more damage, reducing their damage reduction. And like I said, if you get that summon that Pharaoh on the first round, this is a way you can get that attack in, get those nerfs to him, and then go and have everything else do the damage to it. The other one I end up picking is the Phoenix. This can be a very good damage dealer if built right, and even the Magic Eye 2 is another one that puts out some decent DPS. The big thing about it is when you are going and picking these skills, a lot of times you will see that one for give an additional shot. We really want to focus on those things that are going to be like 60% increased damage with each hit. Now, I wouldn't stress too much about trying to avoid every additional hit, but when you can, try to go and take those ones that are going to give that damage percentage increase. And don't feel like you only have to have 2 of these. If you got to go and fill up all 5 of them to keep on building up those damage multipliers, then that's another good way to go. One thing I would say is if you are making all these changes before going in, making sure you're hitting that sync with main quest button. I was going in, I'm like, why am I still shooting daggers? This is not anything I have equipped, and then it dawned on me that I forgot to click and save the button. I will usually end up grabbing the Panda 2 along the way, not so much for this boss, but for everything else in there. Those freezes really do help, and it prevents you from taking those hits yourself. But for me, with beating this at 10 billion power, a lot of it was just making sure I had shields, trying to keep those hits down, and clearly having some high damage output. But I guess before you go in, start thinking to yourself, what can I switch around to prevent myself from having multiple combos, multiple hits from daggers, just kind of tweak things and go in, and like I said, really try to build around those plus 60% while still utilizing that Pharaoh. And I really recommend trying to use a Pharaoh and also that Phoenix. That might be enough on its own, but give her a shot, see how it goes, and you'll actually be surprised that this thing isn't really that difficult at all. But if you're waiting for the next event and want to know why you should start saving your gems, take a look at this video right here. Thanks for watching, and remember, I pick my butt.